In the 1960s, many bands came out in the British invasion, but perhaps the number one band was the Beatles.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. Da 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 da.
They were very experimental and influential to future artists. The Beatles started as the Quarrymen in the 1950s before transforming into the Beatles. They played many songs at this point, one being an original composition called I Saw Her Standing There, which later appeared on Please Please Me.
Here, George, I've got this new song I wrote last night.
She was just 17, if you know what I mean. And the way she looked was wavy on her hair. So how could I dance with another? Well, I saw her standing there. But my heart went through when I crossed that room, and I held her hand in mine. Oh, we danced through the night, well, we held each other tight, and we fought the fun. I fell in love with her. I'll never dance with another. I saw her standing.
So what do you think of that?
Today's session at the Cowan, we proudly present the Beatles.
The band non-stop made songs and albums, and they always showed them at rehearsals. One of these songs became a single called Paperback Writer.
Because I got a pig, so it's a bit difficult.
Today I will be interviewing many people about their thoughts on the Beatles and how they've inspired people today. Hello, I'm doing a short documentary about the Beatles. Do you know the Beatles?
Yeah, I'm aware of who the Beatles are. Yeah.
Cool. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions about them and perhaps how they've inspired you. Are you a musician?
Yeah, so I play the piano.
Oh, nice. So have the Beatles inspired you at all in your piano playing?
A little bit, more in casual guitar playing. They've inspired me to make a few things myself, but nothing extreme. It's just helped me with a few songs, that's all.
Oh yeah, completely. I understand. Do you listen to the Beatles very often?
I don't selectively listen to them, but they are on my playlists. So.
Cool. Yeah. And how do you think they've inspired music today?
I reckon without them, it'd be very different. I don't know how different, but it would be different.
Yeah. Thank you. What's your name?
Cameron.
Thank you, Cameron.
You?
Brandon.
Brandon. Nice to be interviewed, Brandon.
Thank you, Cameron.
Today we're going to be interviewing random people on what their opinions are on the Beatles. Hello, sir. I'm Cameron. How are you?
I'm good. My name's Brandon.
Brandon. Okay. You know who the Beatles are, right?
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Do you like the music?
Yeah, no, I love their music. I have a pretty sizable record collection. Yeah.
Do you play any musical instruments yourself? Are you a musical guy?
Yeah, I'm a very musical guy. You know, I mainly play guitar, but I do play other things like bass, and I do a bit of vocals as well.
Have the Beatles inspired you in any way whatsoever?
Oh yeah, completely. Yeah, I feel like, especially with like songwriting, you know, I find their way of working very interesting. Like how they would have so many songs, and perhaps they wouldn't use them all, but they definitely wrote a lot of songs in, you know, a span of like 9 years or however long they were going. Yeah, I find them very fascinating, and I kind of take their kind of ideas of songwriting, you know, the same.
Do you know if your parents listened to the Beatles, or did they go into any concerts at all with them?
Yeah, my dad loves the Beatles. He's very similar to me. Yeah, none of them went to any concerts. Unfortunately, the Beatles were long since broken up before they were born. But yeah, no, my father likes the Beatles. Yeah.
Nice. Do you think music would be any different today if the Beatles hadn't been together?
I feel like music would be completely different. Yeah, I mean, not just with rock music, but there's a lot of different genres that have completely changed. Like, you might see rappers today saying that they're inspired by the Beatles. So I feel like it would have changed the shape of music completely. And they inspired a lot of different artists. Whether that be artists like Queen, for example. Brian May was a massive fan of the Beatles, or maybe more modern artists like Oasis from the 90s. There's loads of different artists that have been inspired by the Beatles, and you might see them covering a Beatles song even.
Here's an interesting one. If you could say one thing to the Beatles as a whole, what would you ask them?
I would ask them. It's a good one. I would ask them how they got their work ethic. Like, where did they get it from?
It's a good question. Well, that is all from me. So, thank you, Brandon, and hopefully I'll interview you again at some point. So, yeah, nice.